Okay. All right, y'all. Glad to be here with y'all this evening. I got a special guest here with me. We're going to give y'all a moment to connect and get inside the group and the video here. When you come in, be sure to introduce yourself. Just say hello. I'm sure you may have some questions or some comments, so feel free to take advantage of that comment section. And like I said, I'm super excited to be here. So I have a special guest with me this evening. I don't always bring on guests, so if I do bring on a guest, they got to be special. So, I have with us this evening Mr. Anthony Robinson. We first met each other. He joined one of our boot camps some time ago, and one of our 5-day financial freedom boot camps some time ago. And he caught my attention because he was doing all of the homework. He was making his videos and commenting, but then I also noticed something that he was actually going onto his own Facebook and sharing the lessons that he learned. And immediately I said, man, I like this guy because he's not gatekeeping any of this information. He was getting information, and because he found it valuable, he was quick to go out and share that with his community, which is shows me a heart of a servant, a heart of a giver. Since then, we actually ran into each other impromptu at an event I was asked to speak at. And Mr. Robinson came in and we talked about the business of relationships. And I spoke there for maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes or so. And our paths crossed again. So then it was like, yeah, we're very like-minded. We're in a lot of the same rooms, right? We're in rooms where we're trying to get smarter. We're trying to get better. We're trying to figure out how we can serve more people. And I was like, okay, cool. So fast forward, shortly after that, Mr. Robinson joined our Millionaire Mastermind. So he joined our very I won't call it elite, but I'll call it a select group of individuals who see the power and the value of being in the room with other people, other like-minded individuals who are functioning at a high level. Not people who are just talking about it, but people who are showing up, who are investing in themselves. In this case, 5 figures investing in themselves, and so investing time, energy, and money, not just for themselves, but so they can be in a position to help others, right? And inside our Millionaire Mastermind, that's what we focus on is, hey, how can we become financially free using passive income so that we can show up in the best possible version of ourselves for our family, for our faith, our friends, our fitness, our fun, and things of that nature, right? So, how we got here, the reason I want to give you guys a little bit of background with Mr. Robinson being part of our Millionaire Mastermind, one of the things we focus on is helping individuals grow their passive income. Well, I got a chance to learn about the business that Mr. Robinson is part of, and the passive income that can be generated from it if you put in the work and you're coachable and you do the things that you need to do. And I was so intrigued by it that I was like, you know what, my man, we got to do a call for the community because the business opportunity that he has. Some of y'all may be familiar with the type of business, but what I found in the past is that not only does this business have the opportunity to provide passive income, but more importantly, the opportunity to be in the rooms with individuals who are going to force you to grow, who are going to force you to show up as a better version of yourself for your family and things of that nature, your community, your church, right? And also, too, he and I was having this conversation. I was like, dude, I don't think the majority of people know how, for such a small and monetary investment, they can position themselves to have thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars of tax deductions. So I said, hey man, we just got to do a call because we believe in showing up for people who invest in themselves. With him being Miss Robinson being a member of our mastermind, our millionaire mastermind, we're going to show up for them and support them in any way we can because our goal is to help them continue to grow their passive income, be financially free. But it's not about just putting money in his pocket or putting money in my pocket. It's about being in a place that we can help others do the same. So that being said, y'all, I want to introduce my friend, one of my colleagues, one of my millionaire mastermind partners, if you will, Mr. Robinson to the Mr. Anthony Robinson in the building. What's up, man? How you doing, bro?
Man, I am excited, doing wonderful. Look forward to chopping it up with you. Hopefully, I can stay under control without exploding. So,
No doubt. No doubt, man. But do this for the people inside the because we're streaming this live inside our cash flow unlocked private group here on Facebook book. And also too we'll have this upload on the YouTube. So whether you're watching this live or watching a recording inside our Facebook group or you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to comment, share, and things of that nature. But let's get it started this way, man. Tell us, a little bit about who you are, man. So let's start there. Tell us about Mr. Robinson.
sure. Well, born and raised here in Columbus, Ohio. Had an opportunity to attend Lyndon McKinley High School. Panther proud. Graduated from Lyndon McKinley. Went to Franklin University and got my bachelor's degree in accounting. And after getting my bachelor's degree, I had a career with the Internal Revenue Service, where I worked as an auditor for the first portion of my career. And then about the last 15 years, I worked on the leadership team. And so got a great exposure to entrepreneurship through auditing entrepreneurs. And
Huh.
so that was exciting for me to learn about the mindset of entrepreneurs through auditing them and going through their books and records. From there, retired uh, February 28th of 2020. So coming up on 6 years, right before the shutdown took place. And, for a couple of years, just trying to get settled in terms of what do I want to do in this chapter of my life.
Mm,
Found a great home-based business about 3 years ago and have been working, building that business and developing relationships and really just trying to help people at this stage of my life. So that's who I am. Been married for 29 years and we're
let's
excited
go.
about that. Lovely wife, three sons, 11 grands, and now one great grand that just came on the scene a little over a year ago. So that's who I am, and just an enjoy life, man, and enjoying this journey that we're on.
Man, I love that. Okay, so I'm learning some new stuff here. Oh, I had no idea you had an accounting background. I don't know where I missed that in our conversations, but I'm like, that makes sense, right? Just from the conversations we had. Because I was like, you are not afraid of dealing with numbers. That makes sense to me now. And what better way to learn about entrepreneurship and entrepreneur mindset than to actually audit business taxes? Because the one thing about tax returns, they don't lie. It's going to tell you exactly what the numbers were and what was made and what was spent and things of that nature, man. So that's wild. I had no idea about that. Now, I want to jump into because I'm going to talk about tax deductions today. And actually, we're going to talk about tax deductions today. But you said a couple things that really jumped out at me. And I was around here just trying to scramble to try to find a pen. I got this marker. We're going to make it work. You're already retired. So, my initial question to you, you don't need a home-based business. You're already retired and receiving your, retirement income and things of that nature. So, what drew you to wanting to grow a home-based business? That so because when most people think about, oh man, I need a home base because I need extra money right now. Like I can't pay the bills. I need some extra money. But you're a retiree. So why are you still in the trenches trying to grow a home-based business? We're not trying, but growing a home-based business and trying to teach as many people to do the same. So let's start there.
Well, I can tell you this. When you work as an employee, when you retire, because I put money in a traditional 401k. With the
Mm-hmm.
government, it was called thrift savings plan.
Mm-hmm.
And, I invested money in that. And my wife and I made a decision back in 2018. We wanted to do a business, do an
Mm-hmm.
events planning center, and we wanted to put it on our property. We have a farm with about 11 and a half acres. And so we wanted to put a center out here, and we put the plans together, found an investor, started that process, and the bottom fell out.
Mm-hmm.
And the money that we had invested, in the thrift savings plan, we used a significant portion of that to plant the seed for the project.
Mm-hmm.
And so that money is now gone. And
Mm-hmm.
so we retired. And you know, one of the things that I learned about the 401k, and that is, in hindsight, I would have done a Roth IRA.
Mm.
Because what happens when you retire and you start drawing on that money that you put in a traditional retirement system, man, the taxes will eat you up. Oh my goodness. It was astounding to me the amount of taxes that I was paying on this money. And I was
Yep.
like, oh no, this was not the move. But it
Mm.
was too late for me at that point in time. And so that money that we had set aside for the project and then the money that was being taxed heavily,
Mm-hmm.
that money ran out.
Mm-hmm.
And so about 3 years ago, again, made the decision. I want to do something else, but I also, need to do something else
Mm-hmm.
because that cushion that we had was no more. And
Mm-hmm.
so that put me in a position of where to look at, okay, what are some of the opportunities that are out here? What can I do? Because I'm 62 years young now. So what can
Mm-hmm.
I do to maximize time, compress time frames?
Mm.
Because I know now that the most important commodity that I have and that all of us have is time. It's
Yes.
time. And
Yep.
so, as I realize that there's more sand in the bottom than is in the top, it's like, okay, I've
Woo-hoo.
got to maximize my time. And I've got to
Yep.
learn how I can compress time frames because
Yep.
I just don't have as much as what I had when I was
Yep.
20, when I was 30, when I was 40. And
Right.
so I'm at a very serious point in my life. And that is, I got to maximize time and I got to get it done. And I got to get it done with people that want to get it done. So,
Ooh. Woo-wee. Man, I hope y'all are catching these gems. Let me jump over here and just see kind of what's going on because some fire is being and some gems are being dropped today, man. This is absolutely amazing. So I heard got so much from there. First of all, thanks you for the transparency, right? Um, People need to hear that, right? Because we've all had some ups and downs. Like I've never met somebody who's never had right financial struggles or challenges or things of that nature. And a little bit about my story. When I was laid off, and well, shoot, I'm gonna say laid off when I was fired from my job, July 8th, 2014. I had a little bit of change in my retirement account and my savings and whatnot. And trying to start the business, man, I completely burned through all of that. Six figures. I'm talking about that thing was gone like that. So I know all about what you talk about, how those taxes hit. I know all about, what I'm saying, hey, this plan didn't go the way it needed to, right? And I think that's where I became laser focused on really understanding how this money thing work. Not the let me just put some money into a nest egg and hopefully, prayerfully, it doesn't run out of money because if it's invested in the stock market, it's a chance it can go up and a chance it can go down. And if you're spending money at the same time that it's going down, it's kind of the double whammy. So that's when, I think that's when the seed was planted for me to start thinking about, okay, how can I increase my cash flow without being dependent upon things that I truly can't control. I can't control the stock market. I can't control the government, politics, right? So, man, thank you for sharing that. I want to get into this, and I bet you. I think I know you well enough to know where you're going to go with this. You talked about maximizing your time and compressing time frames. Because hey, we ain't got time to waste right now. Time is the one asset we can't get back, and I heard what you said. There's more sand at the bottom of the dang on hourglass. So when you say maximize time and compress time frames, like what do you mean by that for those people who don't understand what that means?
yeah, literally at this point in time, it's really the concept of leverage.
Mm,
And I didn't really learn about this when I was younger, because when I did learn about it, I couldn't put it all together. I didn't
Mm,
have a mentor. I didn't have somebody that could actually put all the pieces together for me. And so, at this late stage, I've increased my level of reading. I'm in different rooms. I'm
mhm,
tapped into people that know much more than I do. And so, what I have learned is it is so important to utilize leverage.
mhm,
And all of us participate in leverage. And there's a book that I read by a gentleman by the name of J. Paul Getty. He wrote a book, How to Be Rich. And he was one of the first billionaires here in the United States. And in his book, he said something that really was like an aha moment for me. He said, listen, I would rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts versus 100% of my own. And that was a wealth building tip that he gave all of his readers. And as I started to ponder on that, I was like, well, you know what? That actually makes a lot of sense because I can get much more accomplished through other individuals, even though they may not even be maximized, maybe not maximizing their effort. But even if I'm getting 1%, guess what? When I leverage it through other individuals, I can accomplish much, much more than what I can accomplish on my own. And I'm like,
absolutely.
oh my goodness, this
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. And then when I think about it as an employee working with the Internal Revenue Service, what happened was they utilized my time,
Mm,
they utilized my talents, they
mhm,
utilized my abilities. And
mhm,
guess what? They took that time and they used that time to help generate money for the government when I went out there and conducted audits for these individuals. They paid me a salary, but they never paid me a bonus for any of the work that I did to generate that money for the Internal Revenue Service and for our Treasury. So it was capped. Okay. And just like many of you, guess what? Your employer will use your time, will use your talent, will use your abilities. They're only going to pay you so much because guess what? Your position is there to make the company profitable. And what happens is you're contributing to the wealth of that owner. You're contributing to that owner living in that nice neighborhood. You're contributing to that owner having that vacation home in the Caribbean. You're contributing to that owner driving the Lamborghini or driving the Ferrari instead of you. And guess what? You're getting the scraps, to be totally honest with you. You're getting an
mhm.
amount of money that you have to figure out how can I live off of this? And
Yeah.
so you're either using leverage as the wealthy do, or you're being leveraged. Okay, there's no other way around it. You're utilizing it as a wealth building tool or you're being leveraged. And I just didn't
Woo.
know this. I know it now. And that's why I'm trying to scream it to the top of my voice. Listen, make sure you go out here and use leverage. Use it because it helps you to collapse time frames. There's a
Mm,
saying, hands make a heavy load light. Many hands make a heavy load light. Guess what? I can't lift 1,000 pounds by myself. But if I get 100 brothers and we go
mm,
out there and we try to lift 1,000 pounds, guess what? We can do it. Why? Because
mhm.
many hands make a heavy load light. And so the power of leverage, man, it is everything. It's everything.
Man, man, we could just actually just throw the if I didn't want to break this mic and I would just drop it and throw it on the ground to be quite honest with you. You know what I'm saying? You spin some fire over here. I want to make sure, man, that the audience got this. And let me say this again, y'all. If you're watching this, whether you're watching the live or the recording, share this with somebody because what I can guarantee you, what I can promise you, and I will stand behind 100% is whether or not you do business with me, whether or not you do business with Mr. Robinson, understand that what we're talking about here applies through applies and through any business, any niche. You have to get these things down. If you've ever wondered, and you've been following me, you're like, how does this dude retire his wife at 40? Why is he talking about being work optional at 50? Well, I condensed time frames. I collapsed time frames. And how did I use that? I use leverage. Now, when most people hear me speak about leverage, they know I'm probably talking about other people's money. Hey, I had this property, I get a HELOC on the property, a line of credit. I go use that line of credit to go buy more properties. Hey, I use my infinite banking system. I put money in, I pull money out via policy loan. I use that to go buy properties or invest in businesses, right? But leverage is just not about other people's money. It's about other people's efforts, other people's ideas, right? Other people's work. And I love that. Either you're using leverage or you're being leveraged, right? And the deal is it's not a bad thing, but it's an awakening that no, this is what it is, right? So I love this right here. So important. I love that J. Paul Getty quote. I remember the first time, one time you and I were talking about it, and we damn near said the quote together because I learned that same quote when I first got into a home-based business back in 1999. So let's go into that because I want everybody to learn about your business, and then also too we want to talk about the one thing that I think so many people are missing with the type of home-based business that you have, the other economic benefits with it. But let me first, I'll start here and kind of share just a real quick story. As we talk about home based businesses, I'm sure if you're of any adult age, you have been broached with the hey, are you open to a business opportunity? Hey, do you want to make some extra money? Hey, right? One of those deals. And some people have this misconception like, oh no, he's going to be talking about one of those pyramid schemes, scams, whatever the case may be, right? And I'm going to say this, I've said it publicly, but I'm going to say this on this recording, on this call. I owe everything I am today from a business acumen standpoint to the foundation I got in home based business and multi level marketing. When I was first approached in 1999, and somebody asked me, total stranger, hey man, you're really sharp. Are you open to a business opportunity? I'm like, I'm fresh out of college. I'm like, yeah. So the man came to my house, did a presentation with me and my parents, and we joined that particular business. And it wasn't about the money I was making. I think that's where a lot of people mess up in this whole growth process, Mr. Robinson. It wasn't about, oh man, I made all of this money. But it exposed me because we had this book of the week, book of the month thing going on, right? And exposed me to books and concepts I had never heard of. I had never heard of passive income. I had never heard of residual income. I had never heard of leverage. And I'd rather get paid off the 1% of 100 men's efforts than 100% of my own. These concepts, and what's crazy is I'm a math major. Nowhere in any part of my math degree did we talk about residual or passive income, right? So I got exposed to these books, I got exposed to these concepts, and I was like, man. And though in that particular business I didn't make any money, you know what I'm saying, worth talking about, I stayed engaged in other home-based businesses. And the reason I've been able to retire my wife, the reason I've been able to grow four six-figure businesses is because I start really understanding that those principles that I learned about leverage, those principles I learned about passive income and residuals and things of that nature applies. It's a business principle that applies to all businesses. It's just, are you the one benefiting the most from it, or are you the one just being subject to it, right? So I just want to kind of clear the air with that I love home-based businesses. If it was not for multi-level marketing, or if you call it direct selling, or if you're still locked into this mindset like, oh, one of them scams or schemes or pyramids, right? I owe everything to that because it exposed me to something that I did not learn in college, something I did not learn in high school or middle school. So I love the industry because you get out of it what you put in. But if you really start to dive into it, like, this is what my upline used to say. He says, this business is a personal growth development plan with a compensation plan attached to it. And the more I grew, the more I developed, the more I was in the certain rooms, it was this wild thing. The more money I made. And even when I got out of the business, I applied the same principles and the more money I made. And then it was like, well, let me help people let me help more people. So I need to leverage and hire more people so I can help more people. So those principles just apply across the board. Those are fundamental wealth creating principles. So anyway, I just wanted to just clear the air with that and say I'm 100% behind home-based businesses. So that being said, man, you mentioned like, hey, things didn't go as a plan with the business you had going on, and you're like, hey, man, what I'm saying? I want something to do. I want to contribute. I want to do some things right, and help more people. So tell us a little bit about your business, the one that you're
Yeah.
involved in right now.
Yeah. So my wife, we were returning from a trip, and there was a good friend of hers that she bumped into, and they were, I believe, returning from Dubai. And my
Mm,
wife and I had an opportunity to go over there, and my wife was talking to her and found out that she went she went at a deeply discounted price from the price that we paid when we went. And so I'm like, okay. And come to find out that, we were on the outside as consumers, and she was on the inside as a merchant. Like many of you. And there's such a huge difference between being a merchant and being a consumer. And so on the outside, there were many benefits that you do not get when you're on the inside as a merchant. And so what I found out was, well, if I'm going to travel, guess what? I might as well own it.
mm,
Why am I traveling as a consumer and paying the dollars that a consumer pays versus getting on the inside? And I can, first of all, have the option to travel at a lower price because I'm inside as a merchant, I'm a travel business owner, or I can get paid on my travel. Okay, because it's built inside any booking that you make. So anytime you go to Expedia, or anytime you go to Priceline or Travelocity or any of these online providers, there's a commission that's built in. But guess what? You're doing the work, but the money you're giving to somebody that you don't even know. So for me, that made sense. I'm like, that makes sense. Why am I doing the work and I'm not getting the money?
mm.
I'm stopping that. And guess what? I changed my position. I'm doing the exact same thing that I was doing as a consumer, but now I'm on the inside as a merchant. And now I'm getting all of these benefits. I'm getting all of these perks. I'm getting these commissions, or I'm getting deeply discounted prices for what I was doing anyway. And so that's what I've learned
Oh.
about ownership. If you're utilizing a service, guess what? Why not own it? Why not own it? And so that just made perfectly good sense to me. And it's making perfectly good sense as I share this with individuals that do travel. And guess
Yeah.
what? It's making sense to them. It's making sense to them. And then what I love is all I do is just share my story. If
Mm,
it makes sense to you, guess what? You come and do the same thing. And it's simply, I would say this, like a real estate broker, they have different real estate agents that are part of their brokerage. Well, guess what? When that real estate agent sells a house, that broker is going to get a cut of whatever that percentage is off of that real estate agent. Well, we do the same thing when we're marketing our business. When a
mhm.
family says, "Yeah, I want to do what you do," well, guess what? Now I'm going to get a cut of what they do, but they were going to do it anyway. They were going to do it anyway. And so that's our business, and that's how we scale it. It's fun,
Yeah.
it's simple, but guess what? It makes sense. It makes sense as a business model. And so that's what I do. That's what I love to do. And we're scaling that business. We're in over 20 countries. So we
Wow.
have the opportunity to expand globally. We have the opportunity to expand here in the United States, and that's what we do. And then I get deeply discounted prices for using all the major suppliers. It doesn't matter, cruise lines, hotel lines, all inclusives, you name it, I got access to it. And I just love it because I'm on the inside as an owner versus being on the outside as a consumer.
Man. Whew, okay. I was over here taking my notes, ready to jump out my seat. So many things I want to talk to, and we could stay on this thing for the next 5 hours. We ain't gonna do that. But here's the deal. These are the things that I heard that really stuck out to me. I was traveling anyway. Why not change my position from being just a consumer to being to having some ownership as a merchant, and now get discounts to do what I was going to do anyway, get paid to do what I was going to do anyway, and to simply share my story with other people who like to travel like I do, and they can have those same benefits and just the way economics works, because for everything that we buy, understand there are multiple levels getting paid. I had a craving for a chili cheese dog today, and I got me a chili cheese dog. And understand, multiple people got paid. The distributor got paid, who provided the dang on hot dog. Whoever provided the cheese, they getting paid. The kid who served it to me, he getting paid. His manager, who's managing him, is getting paid. So you have to start to have this awakening and get out of your way. Because I see that a lot of times with the home-based business. Folks are like, well, I don't want nobody getting paid off of me. But you go to your job, somebody's getting paid off of you every day. Every
Yeah.
time you buy something, so every time you buy something, somebody's getting paid off of you. And every time you produce some income, somebody's getting paid off of you, right? So you have to start to embrace this is just the way the economy works. And when you embrace it, now you can be a part of it, but be, and I love the way you said it, I changed my position. Hey, I was already gonna travel anyway. Hey, I was already gonna wear this hat. So if I can get a piece of ownership to wear the same hat I was gonna wear anyway, and then when somebody sees me like, man, Perry, I love your hat. Yeah, man, you go over here and go get you one over there. This, you know what I'm saying? It's super dope. Matter of fact, use my code and get you a little discount too. Now they got the hat, they feel good. I caught a referral fee. Like it's I love this concept so much because so much education needs to go into it, because literally we're already doing these things. If you've ever gone to a movie and came out of that movie theater and told somebody, man, you got to go see that, did the movie theater or the producer or the actor, did anybody pay you for that referral? Why y'all act so weird about getting paid for referrals? We do affiliate marketing. Hey, if you came through my boot camp and you had a good experience, hey, and you want to share it, here's a link where you can share it. And if that person signs up off the strength of your referral, we get paid and we pay you. It's nothing wrong with that. This is
Right.
the way business works, family, right?
Yes.
So I
Yes.
love what you said is, man, I just changed my position, right? So your business is based around travel, correct?
Yes.
Okay, it's travel based. So anybody listens to this, if you travel, love to travel, know other people to travel, this may be a viable opportunity, because you're going to travel anyway. So why not buy that travel from your website, from your, you know what I'm saying? You get some points or some commissions, whatever the case may be, and then from there you just kind of just share with other people. Is that correct, Mr. Robinson?
That's really in a nutshell. And it's just
Mm.
what you said. You know, people say they don't like to sell, but you sell every single day. What you put on is selling. What you drive is selling. I mean, we do it all the time. And just like you said, referrals, we do it all the time, but we don't get monetized for it.
Mm.
All we're saying is do what you already do, but guess what? Get some money for it because you're
Do
doing
what
it anyway.
do
You're
what you
doing it
already
anyway.
do and get some money. Simple. Simple. Okay. I'm absolutely loving this. And then for anybody interested in the business, we're gonna have a link in the video. We'll put a link in the chat and all of those type deals, right? I'm gonna make a quick pivot here, and the pivot is what was really excited to talk about, not just learning about your business, but also to kind of getting into this whole tax deduction piece, right? But but this is even before I think I realized that, you know what I'm saying, you're classically trained in accounting, you know what I'm saying? So this is going to be a fun conversation. So here's the deal, and everybody, if you know me, if whether this is your first time listening to me or you've been rocking with me, I'm super transparent and I have no filter, and I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. The reality of it is, from just some of the businesses that I've seen in the past, because I've been in the home-based business industry, I think from like 99 all the way through probably my daughters were born after that. So I bet you maybe 2014, 15, right? So I always was involved in stuff because I had my primary job and I had, what I was working on the side. So I had some real estate. I was in some home-based businesses at the time. We were dealing with a business that was dealing with utilities, and everybody got to pay the, saying the gas bill and the water bill. So we was getting paid off of that and things of that nature, right? And you would hear people say, "Well, I never made any money doing it. It's a scam. I signed up and I never made any money." And it dawned on me, some years ago that we have to do a better job educating people on what making money means, right? So you can either make money or pay less in expenses or pay less in taxes. And if you're paying less in taxes, that's the equivalent to making more money,
Sure.
right? That makes sense, right? So
Yes.
what I love about home-based businesses, regardless if it's travel, utilities, makeup, protein shakes, I don't care, right? If that's something that you're already spending money on, it kind of makes sense to position yourself to get paid on it. But what I want to do is spend a little bit of time talking about the tax benefit of this. So I'm going to share my screen here real quick. And before I share it, I want all of you to know this. If you only have one stream of income, if the only money you make is from your job, from your W-2, from your 9 to 5, you are running a game of financial Russian roulette. Before we got on this call, me and Mr. Robertson, when he talking about it, like, hey, right, in this climate with AI replacing jobs, government shutdown, layoffs happening, if you only have one source of income, let me say that again, you are playing a game of financial Russian roulette. You are one pink slip away from not being able to pay your bills. Not having a different stream of income is, I was going to say this, irresponsible and reckless, period. That being said, by positioning yourself to be a home-based business, because understand, if you sign up with Mr. Robinson or another business, whatever the case may be, at that point in time, you became a 1099 contractor. 1099 contractor is equivalent to business owner. When you became a 1099 contractor, you opened up the IRS code to benefit you. Regardless if you make 100,000, 1,000, or make $1, you are now eligible to take advantage of these home-based business deductions under the IRS code. And you may wonder, like, well, Perry, I'm just a contractor, no. Understand the IRS code was meant to benefit business owners and homeowners, and homeowners and really real estate, homeowners, real estate investors. Why? The text code says this. Hey, if you're a business, that means you're providing jobs. And if you're providing jobs, then that's going to help the gross domestic product because by you providing jobs, people are going to go spend more money. So, by that nature, the IRS is like, we're going to give you a bunch of deductions for you to stay in business. It blew my mind that when I would see thousands of people at these conventions, not one person got in front of the room and said, hey, whether you make $10,000 a month or $1 a year, you are eligible to reduce your taxable income because the tax deduction that you have on the business, which shows up right, when you do your Schedule C, flows over to your 1040. Do you know the deductions from your business can actually reduce your taxable income at your job? I can't tell you, Mr. Robinson, how many times I've sat down with people doing financial plans and they're short on cash flow. And I literally say, you should start a home based business. They're like, huh? I said, I don't care. Go sell some vitamins, yogurt, home baked, join a business where you don't have to figure out the infrastructure, pay your fee, become a contractor or business owner, what we call it back in the day, not HBO, but anyway. So sign up because the day you sign up, you now became eligible for these home-based business deductions. So let's
Yes.
go through some of them. Let's go through some. I'm like you, man. I get excited. So family. if you like to travel and you're not being compensated to travel, you may want to take a look at Mr. Robinson's opportunity. And if you do that and you join his company, and it'll be a link there for all of that stuff. Day one you join, and you didn't have to go get an LLC, you didn't have to go get an SBA loan, you didn't have to figure out distribution and logistics, you ain't have to go buy a truck or a building. You literally just Mr. Robinson, just out of curiosity, what if I want to sign up with you today, how much would it cost me?
And ours is a one-time fee of $200.
So for 200 bucks, which is 100% tax deductible, by the way, because that's your startup cost on your business, you now became eligible to have home office deductions. That means that if me and Miss Robinson are both sitting probably in our home offices, at least I know I am, you know what I'm saying? Right? My home office represents about 10% of the square footage of my home. That means that every expense that comes through this home is now tax deductible. So the water, the gas, the electricity, the things I was paying anyway, the internet, the cleaner, the person who comes and clean a home, 10% of that is all now tax deductible. So let's say that when I look at all of these tax deductions on because now I was paying this stuff anyway, right? Going back to what we were talking about, you was traveling anyway, get paid. I was paying these household bills anyway. Now it reduces my income. So let's say that I made $10 in the business. I'm your worst rep ever, Mr. Robinson. Like I ain't make no, I made 10 bucks. If you made 10 bucks, when you look at all those deductions, that may come up to 5,000, 10,000. I'm gonna show you guys a whole list here. Let's say you had 10,000 in home-based business deductions, right? So that means you had a $10,000 loss minus the $10 that you made. That money, so that what's that $9,990 now goes against your taxable income. So if you make 50,000, you just now reduced your income to round it up to 40,000. Would you rather pay taxes on 50 or on 40? All you did was sign up for a program to get paid to do what you was gonna do anyway. So let's just go through some of these. If any of these jump out at you, man, just stop me, right? Just stop me and we can talk about. So we already talked about the home-based business, like rent, mortgage interest, utilities, phone bills, internet. Y'all got these bills anyway. Computer. Are you on? I'm on a computer right now. You on a computer, Mr. Robinson?
I'm on a computer.
Well, shoot, I'm gonna write that bad boy off.
That's right.
Software, apps, domain fees, advertising, marketing costs, flyers, social media, logo design, business. Oh goodness, let's get into this. Mileage. So hold on, let me get this straight, Mr. Robinson. I sign up to become, you know what I'm saying, to change my position and get paid off of my travel and anybody I introduce the travel opportunity to. I'm saying, well, hey man, I'm gonna drive to meet you at Panera, right? And we meet at Panera at Easton. Am I to understand that the mileage that I drove to meet you to talk about the business is now tax deductible?
It is tax deductible. And guess what? If
What?
I buy you a snack or buy you a meal, guess what? That's a tax deduction too for me.
Let's
50%.
let's go. Hold on. But I drive a Range Rover, right? I drive a Range Rover. Are you saying that I can also get depreciation on my Range Rover because I drove out to? Oh my God! Hold on. The car insurance is wow. The gas, Easton they charging folks for parking out someplace. But you know what? It's tax deductible. Guess what? I was gonna pay that anyway. Now I just reduced my taxable income. My lord, business travel, right? I love having this conversation. So hold on. This is so good. We in business together. I go and book my travel through you, or I join and book the travel through me. We both got paid off the travel. And then we meet over in Costa Rica or Dubai or whomever, right? Is is that is that tax deductible? Oh,
In the travel business, tax deductible.
like this is the stuff that's mind blowing to me. Y'all around here getting raped and pillaged by the IRS, and the IRS has literally already told you, hey, we favor business owners. And y'all so stuck thinking that you got to be $1 billion business when all you got to do is be designated as a business and just be 1099. Accounting fees, consulting fees, professional membership dues. Hey, Mr. Robinson joined our millionaire mastermind. That's not a cheap investment, but guess what? It's 100% tax deductible, right? Because he joined a
Yes.
program. Credit card fees, loan interest, courses, workshops. We talked, let's pause here for a second because you know I get hyped, man. Me and you have both had this conversation about y'all got to get in the room. When we say get in the room, what do you mean when you say you got to get in the room? What do you mean by that?
Oh, I love this because it's all about information. It's all about information. Oliver Wendell Holmes said this: a mind once stretched by a new idea never returns to its original dimensions. So as I get more information, it's going to expand my mind. So how do I get information? I go to people that know more than what I know, people that are experts at what I'm trying to achieve. And guess what? They're connected to the people that's connected. And so now I'm getting access to information, and that information, if I utilize it, guess what? Can equate to profitability in my business. That's why it's so important to hang around people that are doing something, that are on their way somewhere, so that you can glean into their wisdom, glean into their experience, learn what they know, and then you can implement that in your own lives. It's so important to hang around the people that's connected.
Man, I know you've heard this quote. For anybody who's not heard it, right? There's a quote flown out there that you are the sum average of the five people you hang around the most. If you hang around five millionaires, you will be the six. You hang around five broke people, you will be the six. If hang around five people who have no focus on health and wealth, you will be the six. But if you are in the room, intentionally being in the room, because here's the deal, and this is what I don't think a lot of people understand. Being in the room is not an accident, right? Because folks are like, well, there's nobody in my room. I'm around all broke people. Change your room, right? Let me share this. I know this kind of off topic, but on topic. I was talking to some friends of mine the other day, and they were telling me how they were, being really intentional about going out and networking and things of that nature. And I said, I can appreciate that, right? Go out and meet people. I said, I don't network anymore. They said, you don't network? I said, no. I pay for masterminds. I just got back from Austin, Texas. You know what I'm saying? That program with my coaches was $10,000 for 90 days. I went down there and got in a room of nothing but 6 and 7 figure entrepreneur business owners who were looking to go to the next level, who had some of the same challenges I had, who could actually benefit from some of my skill set. So I left that room with a new client. I left that room with a new business partner, and I left that room with a new coach because I was in the room. So understand, being in the room means you might have to physically get up and change the living room or the club or wherever it is that you at, and you may actually have to pay to get in the room. But guess what? That trip to Austin, my wife came with me, 100% tax deductible because she's my business partner. So we got a trip to Austin, first class. All of it is a write off. Hotel, 100% write off. Food, 100% write off. My wife was there with me in the room, got smarter with me, and we came back and now we running. And now I picked up a client. I picked up a business partner who's going to help explode our brand. And you know what I'm saying? And I'm working with my coach who's helping me systemize my new business model so that we can be effective in, hold on, leverage, helping 1,000 households become financially free within the next 36 months. Being in the room is powerful, family. Lord have mercy. Hold on. Books and magazines. And you're like, man, you're just gonna get that book anyway. I get books in Amazon, and guess what? I only pay for it out of my Amazon business account because it's 100% tax deductible.
Mhm.
Oh gosh, printers, scanners, like the list goes on. This is not even a full list, y'all. Referral fees. Hey, hey, Mr. Robinson came through our boot camp. You may want to sign up for the boot camp. Use this affiliate link if you're watching this video. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to come in and get crazy value. We're going to get paid, and we're going to give him a referral fee. And guess what? The referral fee that we gave him is tax deductible. Oh my goodness. Inventory, packaging, like the list goes on. Gifts for employees, meals, entertainment, office decor. Hold, almost 50% of our home is a business. I have my office here. My wife's office is adjacent to the kitchen where she does a real estate. And then we have a massage therapy studio downstairs. So, how much of our home is tax deductible? Oh gosh, graphic design, man, like I say, the list goes on and on and on. These are the things you're leaving on the table. And that's why when me and Mr. Robinson was having this conversation, I was like, dude, we just got to do a call because yes, we all need additional streams of income without a question. Yes, by positioning yourself and changing your position, in this case, making a $200 investment, which is 100% tax deductible, immediately positions you to have tens, if not 20s, if not 30s, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars of tax deductions to reduce your taxable income. Imagine you joining a program like Mr. Robinson's, you make $100,000 a year, and because of the home-based business deductions, the travel deductions, the mileage, all of those things that you was going to spend money on anyway, takes your $100,000 income down to 75, takes it down to 50. If you pay less in taxes, what did you do? You actually gave yourself a raise. And we didn't even talk about if you made any money in the business. You could suck and be horrible at the business. But that don't stop you from getting the tax deductions, Mr. Robinson. I
Yeah.
don't know if they hear. I don't know if they. I'm gonna drink my water, man. What's your thoughts? Let me drink my water. You got me over here frazzled.
This this is so exciting because, as you said, the tax law is specifically for business owners. Listen to this. When you're an employee, you earn, you pay tax, and then you spend. But when you're an entrepreneur, you earn, you spend, and then you pay tax. Oh my goodness.
Like, come on, family. Like, we're trying to throw y'all a life raft here. You probably seen the memes of the story, like the person who's like stranded in the ocean, and it's like, man, God, I want you to send me. And God kept sending them stuff. They're like, nah, I don't want that, and I don't want that. And it's like, and God's like, dude, like you're drowning now because I literally said, understand, yo, if your only source of income is your W-2 income, you're paying the max tax rate for your income by just positioning yourself as a business owner. And understand, this opportunity classifies you as a business owner because you are a 1099 contractor. When you receive your commission, unlike your check, there were no tax withholdings. If your commission is 100, you get 100. You make $100 at your job, you might get 75. Oh, goodness gracious. I hope they get this, my friend. If you're watching this recording, right? If you're not excited about the fact that you could go and give, if you reduce your taxable income, let's say 50,000 because I like round numbers. If you reduce your taxable income by 50,000 and you were in a 30% tax bracket, that means you just saved 15,000 in taxes if my math is correct. 15,000 in taxes would be the equivalent of 15,000 divided by 12. You just gave yourself a monthly raise of $1,250, if my math is correct, by
That's
just by
phenomenal.
just joining up home-based business.
Yep. And then take that money and then you can invest that money.
Hold on. That'd be the thing. Hold on. This would be the thing, Mr. Robinson. They'd be like, Perry, I don't have no money to invest. Well, do you have a home-based business? No. So you're paying the max tax rate. So the reason you probably don't have no money to invest is because you have not become intentional. Or, matter of fact, I'm not going to jump on y'all next too bad. You were never taught that by positioning yourself and changing, I love this right here, changing your position from consumer to owner now opens up the ability for you to reduce your taxable income and give. If you reduce your taxes, you know you gave yourself a raise. That's if now you that raise, now you have money to invest in your stocks, your crypto, um, save money for down payment on some real estate, put money into your infinite banking, right? It starts with that. I teach this in a boot camp. We have been focused on the wrong thing. we've been folks like, oh man, you got to make a 20% return, 30% return. No, I ran the math. I can make triple the return of somebody making a 20% return, and I can get a 5% return because I have more money working for me. This in my illustration, they only have $5,000 working for them a year, but I have $20,000 working for me. I don't need to get 20, 30, 50% returns. I can get 5% returns, and over the course of, I think it's like 25 years, 20 years, I'll still have over $1 million, right? Because I have more of my money working for me. Well, how do you get more of your money working for you? It's not a rocket science. There's three levers you can pull. Go make more money, join a home-based business, reduce your expenses, and reduce your taxes. That's how you get access to more capital, family. Like, this is not a rocket science. This has been amazing, amazing, Ms. Robinson. So, like I said, I knew this was going to happen. We just feed off each other's energy and can talk here for an hour. We ain't gonna do that to the folks. Um, what's some of your closing thoughts, man, as we round this thing out?
Man, we talked about this. Listen, the world is changing and it's changing rapidly. And the one thing that I know for sure is you cannot depend on the government.
Mm,
That's a losing hand.
yeah,
If it's to be, it's up to me.
yeah.
Personal responsibility. Take charge of your own life.
Mm,
Okay. Quit depending on somebody else. You take charge of your own life and you go out and take what you want. You know,
mm,
it's not about somebody giving you something. Go take what you want. Okay. You want
mm,
a Bugatti. Guess what? You got to go and take it. Nobody's
mm,
going to give it to you. But
yeah,
we're in a capitalistic society that gives us the opportunity to go and take it if we're willing to pay the price and do what we got to do to go get it.
yeah,
And so if you're not afraid of work, and if you have a dream, you have a why, you have something that you want to achieve in your life that you're currently not able to achieve, then this is an opportunity to be able to go and do that. And again, all of the benefits are numerous, but the greatest benefit is that your mind is being developed.
mm,
The book I read says this: as a man thinketh, so is he. So, guess what? Think yourself to be a millionaire before you become one. You've
there it
got to be
is.
a millionaire in your brain, in your mind, before you become a millionaire in reality. It's got to be
Yeah,
here first. So,
yeah,
this is the most important asset. This is what you've got to invest in. This is what you've got to develop. And when you develop this, all those things will come to you. They will come to you through the
mm.
power and the spirit of vibration. Okay. And so we, I got to stop because I can go on and on and on and on and on.
What we'll have to do is we'll have to pick this up and meet at a Panera where we both get some tax deductions. We both can get some mileage, parking tolls, and 50% meal tax deductions, and we'll just run it back that way. Hey man, if that's the best way to close this thing out. I love that concept. I believe in that be do have, right? And changing how you think and becoming something different so that you start to take the actions of the thing that you're becoming so you can have the things that you want to become, right? And that's so important because wealth starts with ownership. If you don't own anything, if you're looking at that, that equation, right, that cash flow equation, I'm saying, of employee, self-employed, business owner, and investor. If you're not moving towards that business owner space and that investor space, and you're not owning anything, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to create some financial freedom for yourself, let alone some generational wealth. And what's dope about what I love about your particular space is a home-based business. It's so much about developing the mindset and becoming something that you weren't when you came in the door. And that becoming is effectively, it is entrepreneur is getting paid to be an entrepreneur without taking on the risk of an SBA loan, without taking on the risk of running up your credit card, without taking on the risk of hiring employees. You're walking into a system that is already built and you get the opportunity to learn it. And you said it earlier, be mentored by individuals who are further along than you while you're growing your income, and I'll drop it with this, and reducing your taxes. Man, this has been absolutely fire here, Mr. Robinson, brother. I appreciate you so much for this, man. I enjoyed this. I hope those who are watching the recording get some value out of this. Be sure to comment if you're watching this on our Facebook. Be sure to comment if you're watching recording. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to share it. Connect with Mr. Robinson. We'll have his link in the description, and just continue to put yourself in the right rooms. First, it first starts with getting in the right rooms and developing that belief system that there is more out there than you realize. And when you get in those rooms and you have people feed into you and you have people pour into you, and you actually now can actually touch those successful people, then by by just the nature of the law of environment, which is in John Maxwell's book, the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, just by the law of environment, you give yourself a better shot at winning. Y'all, it's been real. Appreciate y'all. We'll catch y'all on the next episode. Appreciate you, Mr. Robinson. This has been super dope. I knew it was. That's why I was super excited about it. I'm glad we got it done, man. So best of luck to you, and we'll see you inside the mastermind, my friend.